some of those particular aspects of anger and some of the pitfalls of that, but then how do we continue to combat that? How do we move forward? How do we address that?
Because nobody wins with anger. Yeah. Nobody. So it's important and it's detrimental that, you know, you get to these platforms and hopefully we can get this information out there to where men can get rid of some of the stigmas about mental health and what it looks like.
And I was seeing myself that I was angry, and I was saying, well, maybe I'm just don't deal with small things no more. I'm just, you know, straight chase and straight lace. But man, that was affecting me. You can receive whatever that is. It's goodness in there and it's badness in there. And it depends on the person. You can receive some goodness, and if you do have those people coping skills or people managing skills where you can sense something wrong and help somebody, that's a great idea. And that's something that could go around black communities all the way from Atlanta to LA to Chicago to distinguished gentlemen that are doing things to move forward and bring our community to a one.
All right, what's up, everyone? We back, and I'm so happy to have a special guest joining us today because up until a moment ago, I thought I was in a room surrounded by Booker T. Washington Hornets. Only Scott sitting in the house, man. Come to find out, we got a Scott in the house with me. And even better than that, the brother of one of my dear friends, Willie Woods, God rest his soul, who was obviously hitman, big time defensive player for McLean when I was there, man. So we got the Scotts in the house.
That's right.
I got Mr. Dohsia, local celebrity, local superstar, and he's going to be talking to us as well about his experiences, man. Happy to be back.
Tell him who you are, too, man.
My name is Dorian Hill, a.k.a. Dohsia. I've been a music artist on the Oklahoma scene and the 918 scene for a long time. Some might say that I'm a legend, but I won't toot my own horn at that. But over the years, I just keep remixing myself, recreating myself, taking on every hat that God's got for me. So I do some activist work. I do a lot of things for the community, doing some photography work, giving back to the TPS, you know, the public schools and the sports programs, stuff like that. So I'm blessed to be here, and it's an honor to be here with these two distinguished gentlemen that are doing things to move forward and bring our community to a one and with purpose and drive. So I'm glad to be here.
Oh my God, glad to have you. Glad to have you.
Absolutely.
So when we left off, guys, we were talking a little bit about anger and what anger does and how to best combat that. And so, you know, certainly it's only one emotion, and there's a plethora of emotions that we go through. And like I was saying before, I personally believe anger is a secondary emotion. It a lot of the times alludes to the primary emotion. And so we want to get into talking about some of those particular things. But most specifically, we want to talk about some of those particular aspects of anger and some of the pitfalls of that. But then how do we continue to combat that? How do we move forward? How do we address that? Because rage and anger certainly is something that, you know, men know, obviously, but it certainly is deeply ingrained in black culture, black community, and we've got a lot of reasons to be angry. To be honest, you know, we got a lot of reasons to be angry. But ultimately, what we want to find is inroads to solutions. We want to find bridges, and we want to get better. We want to get healthier because we got another millennia to be in this thing, right?
Sure do.
Yeah. So we want to be around. We want to be around for our kids. We want our kids to be successful. You know, we want them to achieve things that we never thought imaginable, and so. Let's talk some about that aspect of it, man. So let's talk about anger and maybe some of the things we've seen with anger, some of the outcomes of that, ultimately what that can end in, and then let's get into talking a little bit about, man, what are some of these solutions? What's out there? Where can people turn to get help?
Man, anger for me is... I'm glad we're doing this, man, because it's so many times that we don't talk about the things, we don't know how to get them out. Sometimes even with your homeboys, barbershop talk, car talk, hey, whatever it is, you don't address certain issues like head on and say, brother, what you so mad for?
Right.
And we got friends like that. We know uncles like that, aunties like that. People just mad all the time. You don't understand. You say, oh, well, he just a grumpy old man. Right. That is a mental health issue because Because I imagine being angry all the time with just the stress that it caused on you. You can't smile, you can't do this, can't do this. And at one point in my life, and maybe still kind of in my life, I'm probably dealing with that some because I did some time. I was incarcerated, did some 7 years, and when you do that time and people don't look out for you, you know, the people that you thought was in your corner, you see that's not really in your corner. And I came home with a lot of resentment in me and anger, and I was mad at my child's mother, and I was mad at these people and this people, and it took a lot away from my personality, you know, my bubbliness. A lot of that stuff was gone. I was straight and forward to the point and could snap off in a drop of a dime, and I really didn't understand why I was like this, but I knew there's something that changed in me. And you know, when you come home from prison and doing time like that, you always evaluate yourself like growth-wise. Did I grow any? Did I grow any? And I was seeing myself that I was angry, and I was saying, well, maybe I'm just don't deal with small things no more. I'm just, you know, straight chase and straight lace. But man, that was affecting me in a bad way. And I think it had an effect with the relationship with my daughter. Definitely had a effect on the relationship with my child's mother, or anybody I felt that deemed me wrong, with police, with whatever, with society. I was just kind of carrying that anger in me, and the people close to me knew that, but people from the outside looking in, you put on a smile, you go out, you do these things, you do music, you do videos, you host and doing all this stuff, but at the same time, I'm still dealing with a lot of anger issues. Really don't know how to get around them. You just self-medicate and cope.
So can I say something to that? So those I agree wholeheartedly. I believe that when you come from a situation like yours and everybody around you is angry with you, then you really don't have no way out. So again, going back to Skillz on Wheelz, what we like to do is we like to use solution-focused therapy. And what that means is you as the individual, when you come to us, we're just here to listen to you. You know what's going on. So if we can listen to what you're saying and come up with some solutions to your problem, I think that would be the way to go with it. Cortez, when you were talking about solutions, I mean, there is a such thing as solution-focused therapy. And what that looks like is listening to people with their presenting problems and give them some coping skills, you know what I mean? Because if you think about it, the coping skills that you were accustomed to were people who were just like you. You know, you said you come from prison, which is neither here or there. I'm glad you're home because guess what? I always say it's a thin line. It's those that get caught and those that don't. So guess what? You made it home, man. You 10 toes down, and God got something for you bigger. And I'm just glad to see you doing your thing. So going back to that, again, giving people some solution like we were talking about earlier before we went to our break. Coping skills, man, just little things like counting to 10. I mean, this sounds corny. Counting to 10. Hitting something soft, not the wall. You remember so many times when you worked at Juvenile and those kids would punch the wall. Or that thing ain't going nowhere. It's undefeated. So giving you some alternatives, some ways to channel that anger. You know what I mean? Because, again, if you go into your brother, your sister, your mom or dad, and they're angry, man, that's just setting you up for more anger. And so now you gonna be like a fireball and you're gonna bust on somebody, and then that could cause some detriment that's not gonna be good for nobody, because nobody wins with anger. Nobody. So it's important and it's detrimental that, you know, you get to these platforms, and hopefully we can get this information out there to where men can get rid of some of the stigmas about mental health and what it looks like. It's a real man. We'll talk about some things. You know, we got the definition that a real man is tough, macho, and all that. But look where it got us at, the shape we in now.
No, and I'm glad you brought up that point. I was going to say the same thing, man. God bless you on this back on the other side.
We appreciate it.
Because I know many that go through that and they never come back.
You're right. I've seen them myself.
They're gone to us forever, man. And so to have you back on this side is really a blessing. And so, again, you're hitting some spot-on points, man. And I think, you know, one of the things that we talk about is those pitfalls to anger. You already talked about a number of those. But, you know, it generally is going to lead to self-deprivation. It's generally going to lead to some level level of family loss, some level of relationship loss. Physically, man, just carrying anger, man. There you go, bro. So when you look at one of the number one killers of black men, it's not us, which they want you to believe, right? It's high blood pressure. Yeah. It's hypertension.
I take blood pressure medicine now. I had to be humble about it, y'all. I was in denial, but I take it because I want to live.
And that's tied up in a lot of different things. Our diet, everything, man. But like I say, our level of exercise, but just carrying stress, cortisol, overweight, man, that belly fat. Absolutely. A lot of that's just cortisol. It's just that stuff into that stress, man. And so and ultimately, and the worst thing, is when we self harm, and unfortunately, men lead the charge regarding suicide. When women probably have more episodes of attempting suicide to something, but when men do it, we're successful. And
because we got the guns involved. We go to the extreme with women. They do lead it, but they don't lead out in the method of how they go about it. And men go get the gap. You know what I mean? We go get the Uzi, the chopper, and all that. We want to end it right away.
And again, that goes back to how we're raised. If you're gonna do it, do it. Do it right. But we don't want people doing that. That's not what we want. And everyone has a God-given purpose to be here, man. And so by taking your life, man, it certainly is one of those things that people are going to miss out. This earth is going to miss out. Community is going to miss out. We want you around. And so for those that might be considering those particular outs, it is out. And I should talk to kids all the time about that's a choice. And I can't stop you from making that choice if you so choose to make that choice. But I want you to understand on the backside, it's not all over. It's over for you.
Right.
But it's not all over for your family. It's not all over for the people who love you.
Yeah, the people that you hurt.
Man. And studies have shown that if there's been one successful suicide in the family, the risk of somebody else within that family committing successful suicide rises.
You are absolutely right.
So,
and I'd like to take a personal story real quick and talk about that because I'm now 44 and at 44, I've seen some things, and then you analyze some things and summarize things and take that info and say, damn, well, this happened, these chain events. From my hometown where I knew, it's a guy, I was younger, probably in my 20s. He was a well-known person in the neighborhood, like around the community of Bartlesville, this and that, in the streets a little bit. And he killed himself. And it all shocked us. You're a small town. You're like, dang, one of us killed ourselves? What were you going through? I just seen him last night with drinking, smoking, self-medicating. You think in your mind that brother having a good time. You don't know really what's going on internally in the core of him, and he killed himself. So here about 2-3 months later, 2-3 months ago, 20-something years later, this boy's son, his junior, killed himself. It's suicide. So that suicide, sometimes we talk about those family curses. Legacies. Those curses on the family that stick along on the family, and that suicide is one of those dark clouds over some families because it will run in grandma did it. The daughter did it. Mama did it. Like it's the way out. It teaches the family like almost this is the way out from something. And then the kids say, well, I don't want to be here no more. I want to be with mom. I want to be with my daddy, and they do that. And so suicide, man, is a tough thing. It's not something that's talked about enough in suicide prevention, and I think definitely amongst the African American community, we got to strengthen that. We got to strengthen that, especially with the kids. Now going back to the anger issues and then the depression and all that, the suicide, the kids, this is the most depressed generation I ever seen. And I don't know exactly why, because they got so many things that we didn't have. Like, why y'all so sad and mad? And it's the music is sad. And let's get into music now, because music leads to a lot of this stuff that goes on, especially with the younger generation. Music is the influence. It's what you wear, it's what you drink, it's how your hair is, it's everything that you do. And so you got Rod Wave sad on every song. Now the host Come on, man. You got Juice WRLD Sad.
I want to go down that road because I think that's really opened up a whole another level for conversation.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm great that you're talking about that. But I want to just superimpose here too that, you know, as we talk about suicide and those that may be contemplating it, man, we don't want to sit up here and make light of your experiences.
No, not at all.
Man, obviously there's some very serious stuff that people are dealing with that's out there, man, and sometimes there doesn't seem to be any answers, any hope.
Yeah.
Man, I can truly understand that, but I'm here to tell you that there are answers, there is hope, and for those that are in the local community, every community has a crisis response team. But here in Tulsa, if you're experiencing that and you really need to talk with somebody, free services, free public to the public, you know, it's COPES. You dial up COPES, and they will send somebody out immediately to kind of talk with you and navigate that situation with you, kind of help develop a safety plan so they can get you the help that you need, man. We want you around, man.
Absolutely.
So be encouraged, be hopeful.
Cortez, you hit on an important point, but let's clear that up.
That's true.
Because the information that you're saying is really important. It's just to piggyback on that, not just COPES, y'all. You remember, this is an African-American platform, so I'm here to introduce to you all another resource in the African-American community that can help out too. It's the Tulsa Black Mental Health Alliance through the Terrence Crutcher Foundation. And what that looks like is you got black clinicians, you got amazing Skillz counseling services, you got Mason and Mason counseling services, and there are some other ones out there that are part of this Black Mental Health Alliance that is just formed. Then you got Overcross counseling services as well, and they all specialize in different things. As we were talking about earlier, Overcross does equine therapy. That's working with, you know, the clients get to deal with animals. Amazing Skillz is what we offer. My wife is a EMDR specialist, and she's trained in that. And then we have Mason and Mason, who loves to do children and couples counseling. So we got resources out there for African American. We just got to utilize them. And to go back to what you said about this issue, y'all, guess what? African Americans are committing suicide. Now, we're not like acting as if these things are not real. We got to talk about them, y'all. We're not glorifying suicide, but it is an issue. And African Americans, you'll be surprised if you look at the numbers. Don't think it's just others. African Americans are committing suicide at alarming rates.
Absolutely.
That's excellent, Leon. And thank you. That's important.
So seek the resource. If you're going through something out there and you got these things on your mind, you having these thoughts, and so many things bring these thoughts. They give us medication. They tell you on the commercial they might make you kill yourself.
Right.
But it might make you better, might make you kill yourself. But come seek the resources, and they'll be attached to this podcast. Seek the resources, help yourself. Do not go out that way. It's two ways I always said. If something happened to me, then y'all seek this. I said I'll never party myself to death, and I'll never kill myself. And I stand on that.
Yeah.
So when you look at that word mental health, envision this, you all out there on this podcast that's listening in, mental, MENTAL. You see men in that, right? Men, mental, men. Health, HEALTH, right? You see heal in that.
That's right.
So I'm here to talk about an initiative that we just launched with the state of Oklahoma called Real Men Heal.
That's right.
Real Men Heal, you all. And what that is we just created an initiative with barbershops. You know how important the barbershop is in our community? It's been there and done that. This ain't the first time that this has been done. But what better way than to collaborate with Black barbershop? Because guess what? I told my wife one night that barbers are what I call street therapists. They counselors. But I call them street therapists. Because guess what? When you sit in that barber chair, you letting them know about everything from the kitchen sink. Barbershop initiative. Barbers are street therapists. You know, when you sitting in the chair, especially you being with your barber for as long as I've been with mine. My oldest son is 33. That's how old my barber's been cutting our hair. So when I get in the barber chair, I just sit down and he'll talk me to sleep. He's just that good. But guess what? When you feel good, you look good, you start just rambling and talking. That's right. And so with barbers, we came up with this idea to get them trained to look for suicide prevention signs, to get them trained to recognize signs of mental health issues that arise with some of the clients that come into the shop. Because we can't be everywhere at the same time as therapists. So if we can get others to be on board with initiatives like this Real Men Heal initiative that we're launching through Skillz on Wheels, we believe that that's a community effort that can eradicate some of the things that we're talking about. So we're training 20 barbers who want to get on board with a suicide prevention toolkit, and they'll be able to recognize signs and symptoms of someone who's in a crisis and who's contemplating suicide and things like that. Because like you said, you've known somebody, you've been a part of having a close friend, and that ain't cool, and it don't look, and it impacts everybody. And then what happens is, like you said, curses. We don't break those curses, and then we got this revolving door. So Skillz on Wheels is happy to present Real Men Heal, a barbershop initiative in North Tulsa, where we are lining up with 3 barbershops. The 3 barbershops is the New Look Style Shop, Precision Pro Style Barbershop, and McLean. Oh, you'll be happy about this one. We do got McLean Barbershop on board. CJ's on board. So we go back, Cortez. This is a family affair, y'all. Remember when Booker T and McLean, I grew up where the homies lived next door, across the street. It was that. And what they've done is they tried to divide us, but that's neither here or there. But it's our one nation under God, man. And that's what we here to talk about. And we here with you. Guess what? Again, man, we glad to see you back on the ground, on the battlefield for the Lord, and use those experiences that you had when you were gone. And it was a setback for a setup. It was a setback for a setup to put you in the place where you at now. But again, we don't want to take suicide lightly. And with these initiatives, we want you all to get on board and to just be a part of what we got going with that. So I'm glad you brought that up about what are some things that we can do about like these things, and what are some solutions as well?
I love the idea of that, of the barbers, and because like you say, the barbershops is like the sanctuary for men. Everybody don't gotta go to church and do this and that, but you go to that barbershop, it's like church to you. They preaching, you listen to this.
I go hang out in there.
You can receive whatever that is. It's goodness in there and it's badness in there. It depends on the person. You can receive some goodness, and if you do have those people coping skills or people managing skills where you can sense something wrong and help somebody, that's a great idea. And that's something that could go around black communities all the way from Atlanta to LA to Chicago. That's something that need to be done everywhere.
And they doing it in other places. You know how it is in Oklahoma. They say we slow to get on board. But I'm trying to tell you, we not like that. We got guys like ourselves that's 10 toes down, y'all. We trying to do something while we got the time, because guess what? We got more years behind us than we do in front of us. So now is the time to do what we gonna do and to get unified. So I believe that once we get real men to heal and we dwell together in unity, and when there's unity, there's strength, y'all. I mean, that's facts.
You know, one of the other reasons I really love this initiative that you're bringing up is that we're talking about resilience, man. And what better way can you find examples of resilience than in our barbershops? Many of our barbers have faced some of the same troubles on the other side, man. And so a lot of times when you sit in that chair, man, you like you say, you talk about every aspect from family life to religion,
to this old lady and this and that,
to challenging religious thoughts, man.
What happened at the club?
What happened at the club?
How to come up?
Everything. And like you say, many of them we've been knowing since we've been young, man. Like I say, my barber I've been knowing since high school. So I mean, so again, it's one of those things that we really like to say has some promotion and has an ability to get some traction and just run.
I agree.
One of the bigger things that I want to talk about, though, is I think this gets back to us as men, especially black men, in approaching mental health is the stigma. And so for us, you know, what we're starting to find, and what I think the greater community is finding, the mental health community is finding, is that therapists come in all shapes and sizes. It used to be this belief that the only person that can do therapy work was a trained therapeutic person.
That didn't look like us, too.
It didn't look like us, didn't feel like us, didn't talk like us.
And what about this one, Cortez, because you bring up a good point. And you remember, I remember some of them shows on TV you saw it where you lay down in the couch.
And someone break your mind apart.
And that's not how it is.
And you have to have the money to do it, too.
Yes, sir.
And you got to have that money.
And just to interject, remember, y'all, what I said earlier.
$150. Like, right. I don't even know if my light's gonna be on after this.
Right. And that's why Skillz on Wheelz, again, going back to put emphasis on what you said, Skillz on Wheelz is free, y'all. Take advantage of it. You get 6 free sessions. If we were to charge you for that on the Amazing Skillz side, that would cost you some money. Some ching. So
been keeping white folks rich.
Yeah, and the most and the new, there's new terminology every year. There seems to be the new top terminology, man. But one of the things that's coming out is credible witnesses, and so having people who have been through some of the same things talk about how they've survived.
Absolutely,
you know how they navigated that, and so now it becomes real. That he can do it.
Yeah,
Dohsia did it. Yeah. So if he did it, I know I could do it. I could do this.
Great point, and that's the thing I believe. That's a part of the solution.
Yeah,
we gotta get to a place in the platform where we become vulnerable and trusting. Because guess what? We've shunned ourselves for so many years with that. What goes on in the locker room, what goes on in the house, and we don't have any outlets. So guess what happens? We burst with anger. Yes. We burst with anxiety. We burst with stress, and then we go to those co-occurring disorders where we reach out to substance abuse issues with over-medicating with drugs, alcohol, or whatever we can get our hands on. And now you got an angry person on top of that with a substance abuse issue. And then just to go to the police, y'all, the police is only trained one way, and that's what? To go home at night. And we are too, but guess what? That's what they come in with the mindset I'm going to go home.
Price de-escalation in the fastest form possible.
Right, and that's not how you deal with someone who's mentally challenged. And we're trying to and the police are doing a good job of trying to get themselves in position to deal with these mental health issues. They even got licensed professional counselors who are on the force and things like that. So we can create avenues and platforms like this where we have podcasts where we can reach out and talk about these issues. There are some ways we can do things differently. And I think this is a great start and a great outlet to introduce some of those things. And to go back to that stigma, man, we have to get over the hump. I mean, we're climbing up the hill, but we're getting stuck because we're sliding back down because we allow some of those things that we talk about, like, we don't talk about what's going on with me. We don't talk about my hurt. It'll just pass by. Or I'll just medicate, and then tomorrow comes, and guess what? The issue it ain't went nowhere, and then you medicate again, and then guess what? Now you done blew your whole check.
Yeah.
And you ain't got nowhere to turn, so guess who you turn to? The same people who in the same rut, and that's not helping you at all because you're not getting anything out of it.
Yeah, and I'll take this time to also kind of plug, my group, and that's Empower Voices Rising. And so, really our focus and our entry into this is we're a brand new upstart, nonprofit. But our focus in this is just to really get people involved in expressive therapies. And so expressive therapies comes in a number of different forms. Absolutely. Some even call it art therapy, but it could be anything from music to sculpting to dance to creative arts, spoken word, things of that nature. Because what we also have found is that many people are they're resistant to sit down talk therapy. Some may not even have the wordage for it, or vocab for it. I mean, as we know in our culture, and maybe in many cultures, some of the trauma happened pre-verbal, and it's just ingrained in our DNA. We know something occurred, we know it wasn't right, but how to verbalize that, right? We don't really know how to verbalize that, and so by learning through arts and being creative and attaching therapists along with that to do talk therapy on the side, or just maybe help somebody navigate through that art process, is something that we're really vested and interested in. And so that's going to be our direction and scope into this. And so supporting initiatives like yours, supporting initiatives that bring therapists face to face with people, podding and having giving a person a platform to talk about their situation, what they've been through, how they struggle. Maybe they're not their finished product, but maybe they want to just be able to verbalize that. So having a platform for some of those things is some of the podding and things that we're going to get into. And so I think we got a number of great initiatives that are occurring in this. It's just about keeping that ball moving forward down the court, man. And so I'm glad to hear about all the things that are
I
occurring.
believe the mentorship is the biggest thing, and mentorship can go all the way from young people to people like you say us. We need those counseling. We need that barber talk and this and that. So you can be a man at 44 and have a mentor. You can be 50 something and have a mentor, and you can be 14 and looking and need a mentor. Mentorship is a big part of it. I was able to. My camera been opening some doors for me, and I thank God for that. That camera and opening doors, and I've been running through them. But I got to meet old Monroe the other day.
Oh,
yeah, Monroe Nichols, and he a good brother. Let me say,
congratulations,
congratulations, the first black mayor in Tulsa, Monroe, and he's a Booger T.
He's a
He went to school in Waco. He went to school in Waco.
He's from Houston.
Then he's from Houston.
All right.
High school in Waco. Then he went to TU. But he's a good brother, and we was talking. So to bring it full seat real fast, I went there with the East Central Lady Cardinals football team. First year they sat flag football in the state of Oklahoma. I was blessed to have the opportunity to shoot the season. Donald Driver sponsored that for them. Got to meet Donald Driver. But those girls went all the way and won the state championship.
Yes.
So and they got to be honored by the mayor. He gave them certificate. East Central Day, Flag Football Day, but it was real cool. But we was talking to the kids about what's some things that can help the young people, and they was talking about mentorship. We need some mentorship. We need some other things to do, fun things to do. And when you was talking about the therapy, like music therapy, this and that, TMC Records.
Yes.
They have a record company, and McLean was one of the only record labels a high school ever had. I think the first. And that's music therapy. That's keeping the kids from in the streets and keeping the athletes in the school. They can go and use these resources and do these things. So mentorship is a big part of it. Shout out to Steph Simon. Shout out to Monroe Nichols for the ideas and the things that he's about to do for Tulsa in the community. And we pray that it's good. And we rooting for you, brother. So mentorship, definitely a big thing from ground zero all the way on up.
Well said. Well said. I was reminded by our program manager over here that one of the other resources is you talked about mentorship. That is also a focal point of Empowered Voices Rising as well. Is that we do want to enter into that foray and provide those mentor opportunities. But then I also forgot to mention speech therapy, speech pathologists, and so we certainly have in our Texas branch. And that's the unique thing about Empowered Voices Rising, man, is we're a multi-state initiative.
Come on.
And so right now we're in Texas and we're in Oklahoma. We got obviously plans to grow, but several major metroplexes. So here in Oklahoma, Tulsa, we're starting Tulsa. This is the grassroots for EVR. But in Texas, we're already positioned in Dallas. We're positioned in Austin. We're positioned in Houston. And so, man, we've just got some plans for this thing to just take far and run.
Come on.
And I believe that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step, and Empower Voices Rising, right?
Yep.
Has given us this platform today to get this message out. And I think what greater place to start than with this partnership that we got going here.
Well spoken.
So I'd like to let the audience know that Skillz on Wheels, you can reach us at 918-764-8067, or you can email us at www.counselingskillz.com. That's counselingskillz.com. That's two ways you can hit us up. If you're in a situation where you need some support, you need someone to listen, we're here for you. We'll provide you with 6 free sessions. And again, we got an RV out there in the community that we turned into a mobile mental health clinic. And we're here for you. So take advantage of this unique opportunity and be looking for that barbershop initiative. If you're in these North Tulsa barbershops, be looking out for this suicide prevention training and prevention thing that we're doing. And we're just so excited to be a part, Cortez. And, man, I appreciate you giving us this opportunity.
So excellent, so excellent. And again, if you're interested in continuing to collaborate and reach out to Empower Voices Rising, or EVR as we like to call it, here in the local area, you can contact myself. You can contact me at cortez.tunley@evrrising.org. I'd love to hear from you. Love to talk about the things that you're doing. Maybe we can get together and we can help support your initiatives as well.
Absolutely. And as for me, Dorian Dohsia Hill, man, if you ever need to contact me, feel free, reach out to any of my social medias. That is going to be Dorian Dohsia Hill, Dohsia. I'm available to talk to. I do a lot of things for the youth. I throw youth parties. I do this photography thing. I do this music thing. People, if you know me, I'm always on the scene. I tell them, if you want to know what Tulsa looks like, come to my Facebook page. I got pictures of the whole city and almost everybody in it. So I'm available for mentorship. If you need Unc, they call me Unc now. I done reached the Unc level, and I've embraced it. I've embraced it on the hey, with the ladies, Unc, big Unc in here. So hey, if you ever need to reach out, man, young people, reach out. Don't hesitate. Don't wait. Things going on in your mind, going on in your life. We all been there. We've climbed those hills, and then we can tell you how to climb them easier than we did. So reach out to me, Dorian Dohsia Hill, Facebook, Instagram, any social media, it's all the same.
And so you heard it from a group of men who have invested and certainly interested in being a helpmate to the community. We want to grow with this community. We want to see men in general grow from all races, from all cultures, but specifically, we want to see ours grow and be healthy as well, because there is certainly the other side, and we can help get to that location together. Just saying God bless to everyone. Until next time, because we hope this just begets a series of conversations. But this has been great.
Appreciate it.
I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you.